This is Electric Football for Week 3. I am Stephen L. Brown. That's Stuart Gotts, and we're going to tell you about football. Right, Stu?
We are.
All right,
Stephen L. All right.
I always want to be referred to as Stephen L. It's much more dignified than Stephen A.
Stefano. Titans Jags. So porn star Gardner Minshew, made quite the impression the last couple weeks. Jags were a yard away. They go for the win, which I like the idea, but when you're 0-1 and you're trying to win a division here without your starting quarterback, go for the tie. I mean,
I like the call. You're down there. You're with your second quarterback. I don't like the play call, but I like the. Let me put it that way.
Yeah,
I like the
okay.
decision.
Well, yeah, all right, I'll give you that. At least they didn't pass like the Seahawks versus the Patriots. Anyway, the Titans blew one to the Colts. The line is Tennessee giving 2.5, which I don't understand. I mean, it's not like they were impressive enough to be a favorite on the road in Jacksonville. I guess they're just basing it on Minshew playing. The Jags D looks feisty, and they held a very potent offense to 13 points. I like the Jags to win, and I'm taking the 2.5.
I'm confused in this. Analytically, it was the wrong call to go for it. That only works about like 35% of the time or something like that. But I like what Doug Marrone was saying there. It was like, we're right here. Minshew has played well enough to get us here. Let's take our shot right now. And it didn't work out. And now you got him and Jalen Ramsey like squaring up.
Yeah, another guy that probably wants to get out. Like all these guys are starting to say, I don't want to play here anymore.
I gotta tell you though, the league is turning into kind of an ugly thing where you're having this like, if I don't like how the game was called, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
You got Jamal Adams now crying and whining, and I think he unfriended the Jets.
He did.
It's getting a little.
I did in 1969.
Yes, but it's getting a little silly. By the way, one of our viewers raised an interesting question. Would you rather your son had become a Jets fan or a Patriots fan?
A Patriots fan.
Okay.
I absolutely hate the Jets.
There we go.
I don't hate the Patriots. The Patriots beat us because they're supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
The Jets beat us when they aren't supposed to, and they beat us, with all these lousy people in it, and the Patriots beat us with the greatest quarterback.
But they both beat you.
The Patriots were an expansion team until like 2000, whenever Brady went in.
201 or something like that.
Ugh. Anyway, I hate
Titans
the Jets.
had a great first week, had a lousy second week. Jaguars had an injury to Foles, have not, came close last week, but you don't get anything for trying. I'm with you, though.
Even with Electric Football Show.
Even with the Ramsey stuff, I kind of think that, I can't tell if either of these teams are alive or they're just breathing, if you know what I mean. Like, I don't know which one really has any kind of hope for moving forward in the playoffs.
Oh, they're not going to the playoffs.
But in this one,
playoffs.
I think the Jags will be able to shut down, Derrick Henry, Delaney Walker, and David Quesenberry.
Is that Dan Quisenberry's son?
He's the only guy that caught a touchdown last week. Big, giant offensive lineman. So we're both taking the Jags on that one.
Yep.
So we got the Bengals at the Bills, or the New York State champion Bills.
Finally home from a 2-week vacation in New Jersey.
Yeah, Buffalo's defense has been on a seek and destroy mission. They've taken out both, the Jets and the Giants. Josh Allen is playing well enough to win, I think. He's starting to show signs that he may be a good quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Still limited with their weapons. I gave the Bengals a whole lot of love last week, and they Bengaled me. As soon as I jump on that bandwagon, they fall apart for me. So I'm going to take the Bills at home to go a fairly surprising 3-0 to start the season.
I like the Bills here, too. They're 4.5-point favorites here, deservedly so. They have every right to be. And the Bengals were smoked by San Francisco, while the Bills gored New York. Gored New York. You're welcome. I like them. They're a 2-0. They're looking like the only other contender in the AFC East, and barely that. I mean, Josh Allen is not going. Josh Rosen. I confused them.
Allen.
Yeah, I know. But anyway, defense just a lot better than the Bengals, evidently. I mean, the Bengals came out in week 1 and played a really tough game against Seattle, and then they were gone. So, Bills.
All right, we got Lions at Eagles. And I got to tell you, it was like the Eagles were being stalked by the angel of death in that last game. Some crucial injuries this week, and the Lions got a win over a Chargers team that I'm much bigger on, but I didn't factor The Chargers were massively depleted by injuries, including their kicker, which I did not factor in. And as we've seen with the Jets earlier in the season, and as we saw with the Chargers, you can lose a game because your special teams are weak. Uh, Lions get another very depleted team this week, but still a better team than the Lions. And at home, I got to think that the Eagles are winning this game.
Yeah, they're 7-point favorites. Aguilar doesn't drop that bomb, and the Eagles may have won that game. Detroit had the upset win, but they couldn't put up more than 13, though. And Philly's going to be hungry now after that loss. They'll remain a game behind Dallas, but they have to win this game to remain behind Dallas, who's playing Miami, which is a sure thing. So I will watch for the Eagles' injuries. I mean, that's a concern. But right now, if everything is as stands, Phillies -7.
All right, so we have the Jets at the Patriots, and Bill Belichick is just the master of puppets. He knows how to pull the strings. He's got his defense playing out of its mind. What have they given up? 3 points this year?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when do you talk about the Patriots' defense being their better, the better of their teams? So,
True.
plus you've got Trevor Siemian. We were texting after that. I was actually texting a guy at the game when Simeon went down, and I was saying to him, like, it hurt me to watch it. And Stewart was like, I just...
You would just have to bury me on the field.
When they came out, I just asked him to bury me. Yeah, I mean, it's a bad injury when the training staff runs out, and then they wave to the side, and then the funeral director runs out.
And these two idiots are texting each other at 10 o'clock at night.
That
doesn't happen often.
And then they let the guy walk off. Like, bring out the damn cart. What are you trying to save on gas?
Well, we want to make sure he doesn't come back, so let's have him walk.
You know what? Your ankle may have snapped. Let's put 220 pounds on it while you walk to the freaking training room. Are you kidding me? The Jets are just a mess right now. Good luck to Luke Falk. Jamal Adams, like I said, is in he's having a little tantrum. I'm not your friend anymore.
What is going on with this? It drives me crazy.
So give me Belichick over Gase.
Yeah,
Easy.
The Cars may have moved in stereo, but the Jets move in mono.
Oh, and goodbye to Rick Ocasek, who put on the worst concert I ever saw. But
20 minutes, right?
But married way above his station.
Pats are giving 10, and based on the destruction of their opponents thus far, you have to take this. I mean, how can they not crush the Jets? Lay the 10. Watch. Brady should be sitting by halftime.
Yeah, there you go. So we have Raiders at the Vikings,
Good
and
luck.
I think Kirk Cousins has finally proven that this era will be more wasted years for Viking fans. Bad interceptions, under 50%. The theory last year was we're going to have a better quarterback, we're going to have a better running back, we're going to be great. Well, that better running back has shown up so far. Dalvin Cook is leading the league in yards.
Yep.
The offensive line has gotten better. The defense is playing out of its mind, and Cousins cannot raise his game to beat a good team. Look at his record against good teams. Look at his fourth quarter turnovers since he's come to us. It's a mess. And I'm taking the Vikings because David Carr is playing even worse.
I'm taking him too.
There you go.
I mean, even after the first 3 touchdown onslaught, the Vikings defense after that played.
Yeah.
And the offense let them down. But you're right. Kirk is your quarterback, and that's your problem. Raiders, David.
That and the contract we gave him, one of the richest ever.
Yeah. Carr surpassed Kenny Stabler as the all-time passing leader for the Raiders
Isn't
in that
hard
game.
to believe?
Yeah. I thought he was in the league like 3 years. I guess it's longer.
He's better than George Blanda, better than Daryl LaMonica, the Mad Bomber.
But it just shows you they didn't throw the ball much
No.
back in the day.
Yeah, like we said the other day.
Bob Greasy
Greasy,
had
2
7
for
yards.
3 this week.
That bomb to Warfield for 21. Anyway, Vikings D, if they can come out of the gate hot, they win. Take the Vikings.
Ravens at Chief, and Patrick Mahomes is just a slayer of defenses. That's what he does. I know everyone's on the Lamar Jackson hype train, but I think it's a crazy train right now.
I think, there are 2 opponents.
Yeah, exactly. Who'd they go against? The Dolphins and the Cardinals. Okay, you're going to prove it to me this week. Now, the Ravens played the Chiefs tough last year. It's a battle. I wouldn't be surprised if it went the other way. But I am on the Chiefs this year until somebody knocks me the hell off of them.
Yeah.
So give me the Chiefs rather easily.
Yeah, week. I mean, Demarcus Robinson comes out of nowhere for Kansas City, and here I had Sammy Watkins not catching any passes in week 2. So, fantasy is for shit. You never know who's going to step up. And they blew away the Raiders. But The Ravens struggled near the end of the Cardinals game. I mean, that should have been a bigger win for them, and it wasn't. Tough call here. My heart says defense. My mind says offense. So I'm taking the great Googly Mooglies.
All right, we got Falcons at Colts, and it's not overkill to say that the Falcons were 1 or 2 plays away from being 0-2, and it's not overkill to say that the Colts were 1 or 2 plays away from being 2-0. The question for me in this game is, can the Colts offensive line push the Falcons around, and can the Colts run on them? They're not going to want to throw against the Falcons. They don't want to make this a contest of who's got the better wide receivers. They want a ball control, and I think they can against a fairly mediocre Falcons defensive line. I'm taking a good Colts O-line to overpower them, and I'm taking the Colts.
As am I.
There we go. We're in lockstep.
The Falcons got off to a hot start and then, fizzled near the end, and they had to hold their breath to win the game here. Brissett befuddles me. The Colts befuddle me. I never, this is like, be consistent. Either be consistently bad or be consistently good, but be consistent so people like us cannot look like idiots when you watch this show. But I am taking the Colts here. I just like them a little better than the Falcons on the road.
Broncos at Green Bay, and hallowed be thy name, Aaron Rodgers. I won't go against you again. You're off to a 2-0 start. You're at home. You're going against the weakest of the 3 defenses you will have played in the first 3 weeks. Can Green Bay's improved defense stop the Broncos' run game and force Flacco to be the player? Yeah, they can.
Yeah, they've been proving it.
So I think Green Bay takes this one easily.
Yeah, the Packers, they shocked the Vikings coming out of the gate with 3 quick touchdowns. I turned around, it was 21-0. I thought the Dolphins game, it just, the color was bad on the television. But no, it was Green Bay.
Yeah.
And you can run against the Pack, as Dalvin Cook has shown, but the Broncos don't scare me. Their running backs don't scare me. Their celebration before the Bears beat them with this monstrous kick at the end, they thought they won the game, and that's what you got to love about football. There's still 38 seconds left or so. And boom, you lose the game. What was it, a 55, 58-yard or something like that?
Yeah. It wasn't Cody Parkey. We know that much.
Yeah. Packers D is good enough, and with a JRX, however you say his name, Alexander, breakup of a pass to end the game, that's how the Packers win.
Dolphins at Cowboys, and it's like somebody just poured anthrax down the Dolphins' blowhole. They're dead. They're off to the worst start ever, as far as I can tell, because they've given up 102 points and they have not scored. The 73 Saints gave up 102 points, but they scored 10 in their 2 games. This is just horrible. And they're going up against the Cowboys from hell, who are scoring. Dak is playing well. The Ezekiel Elliott holdout didn't seem to have heard anything. Jason Witten came out of the booth and has caught touchdowns in 2 straight games. There's no way the Dolphins win this game. Let's just hope they can score, right, Stu?
They're not going to score. Everybody's bailing on Miami. Minka Fitzpatrick wants to get out. They tell him to stay. He's like, nah, I really want to go, so we go and trade him for number 1 pick.
Disgruntled defensive backs is our theme today.
And he was the top-graded defender on the Dolphins last week. So what does that do? If our top-rated guy leaves, what is Dak Prescott, who's in a contract year, who's blowing it up so far this year? Why is this game even on? Just tell Miami, stay home. You lost.
Be like, I get it, you're tanking for Tua, but you might be tanking so well that it's not going to matter that you have Tua. If you put a quarterback on a completely talentless roster, how much of it changes a rookie quarterback? How much of it you might be looking at 3-4 years of rebuilding.
Oh, easily. Even with 3 first-round draft picks next year, what are we going to draft guys that have 10 years experience out of college?
And historically, if you look at teams that have had that sort of thing, which the Vikings did one year, they usually hit on one, but they never hit on all 3.
Well, here's the deal. The Dolphins say, look, Tua, we're gonna draft you, but we're also drafting your left tackle and right tackle right after you, so don't worry. We got you covered.
We're going to draft you, Tua. We're going to get Jake Fromm also. We're going to take 3 quarterbacks, so we come out of this with at least one.
Someone won't die.
All right, what do we got? Speaking of dying, we got the Giants at Tampa Bay.
Yeah, this is why part 2.
Eli is got to be disturbed that he is no longer the quarterback of the Giants. And a fascinating little debate here because he is now a 500 quarterback. I think he's exactly at something like 116 and 116 for his career.
Yeah, the Hall of Fame, sans those 2 Super Bowl wins, you got to start going, is he that great?
Well, there would be no Hall of Fame at all if there wasn't 2 Super Bowl wins. He didn't have a playoff win in a season where they did not win the Super Bowl. On the flip side of that, he's up in the top 5 and 10 in a lot of passing categories. So it's an interesting debate, but unceremoniously and probably 2 years too late, they're dumping Eli. They're putting in Daniel Jones. It's all the talk around here. But he's got to be worried because Shaquille Barrett was 3 sacks and just killing people in the Panther game. So the Giants are chasing the Dolphins really for worst team.
I know.
In
I'm
football.
worried now.
They're not
Well, at
quite-
least they don't need a quarterback unless Jones gets demolished.
Well, we'll see what happens with Jones. Once it's live, it's not preseason. It's not him with the first team against the second teamers and that sort of thing. I got to take Tampa Bay here. They're at home. The Giants in a little bit of disarray. Pat Shermer, the jury is really out there. So give me Tampa Bay to win this one.
My only comment on this is Eli just went into the locker room, took off the blue jersey, put on the Jets jersey, and he's just sitting there till next week. And then he'll go out with the team and no one will notice.
The talk around here is that he does not want to leave the Giants and that he will stay around to be a mentor. There are, with Roethlisberger, Breeze, Foles, all these guys going down.
There's got to be talk of Eli somewhere.
Yeah,
They're
got to be considering it.
Beats the crap out of, anybody else that's a backup on any team is not going to be as good as Eli.
If I was the
Except Daniel
Saints,
Jones.
I might be sticking with Bridgewater over Eli, to be perfectly frank. And, who knows? I mean, it's a
I thought
question
you were
of money.
Stephen L.
There we go.
Callback.
So what do we got? We got...
Panthers versus the Cards. Why? Part 3.
am I being paranoid, or does Cam Newton just look not right?
He's done, and he was posing for the Rosie the Riveter poster last week after what the
I've kind of hated the Cam fashion choices, especially after a loss. Especially after like a devastating, we should have won this one loss. Just put on a T-shirt and slink out like the rest of the
Just wait
guys.
for George Jefferson to come out and go, Wheezy, get back in the game.
Kyler Murray, is he the real deal? I haven't seen it yet. He's put up some numbers, but it's like it's like
Mop-up
playing
numbers.
Yeah, it's like playing Madden. You're down 42 and you throw a couple of deep bombs and you go, I threw
While your friend's in the bathroom.
all right, I threw for 400. Come on back out. It's a game now. I'm going to take Carolina just based on level of talent and the ability for their defense to get after Murray, and my belief that Murray will not play all 16 games this year.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I think the Panthers will be looking for a quarterback next year. Panthers.
All right, Steelers at San Francisco, and is it fade to black for Big Ben? Is that it?
I think it's it.
He's saying no. He's saying I've got a 3-year contract and I want it. But he was saying like years ago, he was doing the Brett Favre.
Yeah.
Oh, I might retire unless you wish me back and really love me.
But so now you in 2 years' time, you've lost Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown, and Ben Roethlisberger. That's hard to come back from.
And Martavis Bryant a few years
yeah,
ago.
right.
Yeah, all of your
And
skill.
Merrill Hodge. So there's that.
Yes, and Franco Harris. All of your and Frenchie Fuqua. We always got to
Nice
get a
one.
Frenchie Fuqua reference in here. All of your skill position players have gone. You haven't replaced them. You've got
Bubby Bristol,
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Kyle Rudolph.
Mike Tomlin said, "Won't you guide my team tonight?"
Ooh, you're in fuego,
Yeah,
Frenchie.
thank you. I was amazed by what Garoppolo was able to do last week. You got to take San Francisco at home against a reeling Steelers team, and I got to tell you, it might be time for Mike Tomlin to seek a new spot next year.
Yeah.
I mean, he is a great coach. I think that there comes a point where the room stops listening to you, no matter how good you are, and I think Mike Tomlin may have just reached that. Quite frankly, even if Ben came back, I think if I were Mike Tomlin, I might want to leave.
Yeah, agreed. And you know what? What I like about the 49ers is they have 3 running backs that have been able to share the time without being jerks about it, to each other. No, they're team players. They want to contribute, and they're all contributing. And I think that's the difference in the game. I like the 49ers. Granted, they blew out a crappy team, but I do like what they're doing, and I expect them to win.
All right, so we have Saints at Seahawks, and this is a fascinating game now. Breeze was the ace of spades for the Saints, and he's down now for weeks. I mean, if you saw that, they showed the shot where he tried to pick up the football, and it was like it was electric.
Yeah.
You get that?
Like
Electric
that.
football. Ah. As you know, I'm on the Seahawks thing. I'm liking the teams that are going for the old school, like let's pound the ball down down people's throats. Seahawks always play well at home. The theory is that Bridgewater will play much better now that he's getting the first team reps and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But really, do you not have your backup prepared? I mean, like he played okay, but the theory that 1 week of first team reps is going to make this giant leap, I don't see it.
Not with a guy that had 14 years. You know, you lost a guy that had 14 years experience in that offense versus Teddy, who has maybe 2.
Yeah, like I'm rooting for Teddy. Don't get me wrong. I'd rather have him than Kirk right now, to be
Yeah,
perfectly
okay.
frank.
Yeah.
But you know, how big of a leap is he going to make? It's a tough thing for the Saints team to look up and go, we have 3 key players on offense, and the key player went down. You know, the guy that gets the ball to those other 2 players, Kamara and Thomas,
Yeah.
is gone now. That's got to take the wind out of your sails. The Saints have had a rugged start to the season. I mean, the schedule makers did them no favors, and now they have to go all the way out west and play a good team. No.
Yeah. No, agreed. I have nothing to add.
So Houston at the Chargers. Why don't you take this one then?
All right, Texans had a nail biter against the Jags while San Diego loses to Detroit, and these are 2 clubs that I can't get a grip on. So let's just say that the Texans. Just take the Texans. Safety and Adrian Phillips broke his arm, and that could open up the Texans' passing game. The safety is obviously for the Chargers.
Yes.
But with all these safeties and cornerbacks, saying I want to trade. Maybe they'll have a cornerback by Friday. Who knows?
Yeah, Jalen Ramsey might be there.
Yeah. But I am taking the Texans. They played a tough Jags D, barely beat them. The Chargers are not that good. I've said that for a while. You were on their train. I'm not taking them.
I'm on their train if it's the team, if it's the actual, starting team that you expected from the season. But right now you got a motley crew of replacement guys because of injuries. And like I said earlier, they lost because of special teams too. They were afraid to kick a field goal because their punter was now kicking for them. I don't know what the situation. It's only Tuesday. I did not get a chance to check the injury report. I am a Deshaun Watson believer, but it's hard to believe that they've only scored the Texans with, a dynamic offense has only scored 23 points so far this year. That's disappointing. Want to talk about a coaching change that's long overdue?
Oh, God, yeah.
Send Mike Tomlin to the Texans, and I swear to God, you might have a championship team. They've had a talent level that they have not lived up to for a very long time.
Yeah.
And I'd hate to see Deshaun Watson's best years get wasted here. Like, what are you waiting on? Like, do you want to be good enough, or do you want to be a championship-type team?
Agreed.
But I will take them here to beat a really, really banged-up Chargers. I'm not off the Chargers bandwagon completely. I just need them to get healthy before I get back on that bus.
Okay. Don't love them.
Oh,
Rams, Browns.
all right. So this is a game where like Baker Mayfield was basically bailed out by Odell Beckham Jr.
Big time.
You forget. People were saying it was a crappy Monday night game. And it kind of was. It was sloppy. The Jets' offense was just completely.
Anytime the Jets are in a game, it's a crappy game.
No, but I mean, like, that was one of the worst offensive, for 3 quarters, that was one of the worst offensive things you're going to see. They had like minus 13 yards passing and about minus 3 yards rushing. I like what the Rams were able to do. I like seeing Cooper Kupp healthy. And one thing I don't understand, if you saw the Cooper Kupp, the long pass where he got tackled at the 1, how is it that wide receivers are allowed to basically grab guys by the face mask, twist their heads around, and that's called a stiff arm. But anywhere else, it's illegal hands to the face.
Well, he needed 1 more yard for me to really blow out my opponent in fantasy, so I was very upset.
I
won.
I think Sean McVay was running the risk of having a really black Sabbath by getting Todd Gurley injured because they were up 3 scores with like 3 minutes to go, and he's running them in the 4th like 3-4 times in a row.
Yeah,
He
but
rolled
you can't
Goff.
be afraid of that anymore.
He rolled Goff
know?
out. Well, you don't. There's a difference between being afraid and being smart. Gurley has an injury history. Gurley has been banged up. You want him healthy and fresh at the end of the season. You don't have a backup that can just plunge into the yard to kill, into the line to kill time.
Yeah.
You were up 3 scores. It's crazy to risk that kind of injury. I'm sitting there looking at it going, what is he? There's 3 minutes left. Yes, if they were to give up a touchdown. Yes, if the backup fumbled and you gave up a touchdown, then maybe you bring him back in. But boy, if he went down there, the Rams' chances sort of plummet. Um,
Can't disagree.
Odell put on a show, amazing one-hand catch in the start, and he had to do it one-handed because of the coverage. It wasn't,
It was brilliant coverage.
It wasn't showboating at that point. And then he broke the 89-yarder, which I was surprised to hear is the longest of his career.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, that's what they were saying.
What surprised me was the speed near the end of the run. He was getting further away from the guys chasing him.
I was actually surprised at how close the one guy came to actually getting him.
But I was tired watching him. I mean, that was a long freaking run. And he's smaller than I thought. He looked small last night.
He is not a huge guy.
Yeah.
But
he was on ballers too.
They showed a highlight of him warming up, and his vertical is insane. So anyway, I like the Rams. I like the Rams pretty easily here.
They had too much experience to lose this game.
I think the Browns are coming off of a short week, and I don't think the Browns have been impressive in either game, even against a Jets team that was falling apart.
Yeah.
All right.
Last game.
Last game. So we've got the Bears against the Redskins.
Woo! Go Bears!
Oh, is he still here? What, just sleep here for a week?
Go Bears!
Get out of
There we
here.
go. Get out of here. But the Bears D should be able to make the Redskins run to the hills because they can stop, Case Keenum from throwing the ball.
Can't believe he still has a career.
No, God bless him. He's made the most of
Nothing.
There's Viking quarterbacks all over the NFL
There are.
right
There
now.
are. And they all stink.
Well, that's kind of including our
Including
$90 million guy. But no, the Bears miracle comeback. God
And
bless them.
they dominated that game.
Saved the season with that.
Almost lost it.
Coming off of an emotional win. They have to travel to Washington, but they're on Monday night. Khalil Mack will show up and show out. I don't know. How do you not go Bears? How do you not go Bears?
I wouldn't
Yeah,
want
you don't go Bears.
All right, get out of here, bud.
I wouldn't want to be Case
Or
Keenum
yeah,
in this
you
game.
do go Bears. Go Bears.
Go Bears.
Go Bears.
Go back.
So we'll go Bears.
All right. The Redskins are old. They look old. They play old. They will look even worse against this very fast Bears defense. I think they'll feast on Case Keenum, who surprisingly still has a career. I am taking Peppers.
There you go. That was Electric Football with Steve and Stu.
And some guy who's a Bears fan. Come in and
Yep,
say
that's
goodbye.
me.
And my
All
Bears
right,
folks,
see ya.
get out of here,
Bye.
bud.